Hey guys, Caleb Giddings here for Gat Daily. And I have a new gun. That's right, we actually have a brand new gun. We're not reviewing some ancient revolver that I've had sitting around in my gun safe for years because I'm a degenerate revolver enthusiast. No, today we actually have a new gun that we're talking about, which I had to leave slightly out of the shot for reasons that don't make any sense. But this is the Heritage Manufacturing Barkeep. So, if you don't know anything about Heritage Manufacturing, they are an American company. They're headquartered in Georgia, and they make single action revolvers, specifically clones ish of the Colt single action army. But they have one feature that most single action guns don't have. Excuse me while I clear this out. And that feature is a manual safety. So this right here, you can see it's on red for fire. This is a manual safety, and what happens is when you flip this little guy up, it moves the hammer so it blocks the hammer from actually hitting the firing pin. So unlike your Rugers which have a transfer bar that keeps the hammer from interfering with the firing pin, on the Heritage, if the safety is off, the hammer literally rests on the firing pin just like it would in the traditional Colt design. So that means this gun is really only safe to be carried with 5 in it, and you leave an empty cylinder under the hammer. But because it has this safety, if you want to load it with 6 and let it ride on this hammer blocking safety, you absolutely can. Whether or not you feel comfortable with that is up to you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this gun. This, as I've said, is called the Barkeep. And there's an interesting history behind this sort of modification to the Colt single action army. Now, all of the Heritage guns are chambered in 22 long rifle or 22 Magnum. The 22 Magnum cylinders drop right in. Right now, it's only shipping with the 22 LR cylinder. I got a 22 Magnum cylinder. You can get them on Heritage's website. And to make that cylinder change, what you have to do is pull the gun to half cock. 1, 2. So now it's at half cock. You're going to open the loading gate right there like that. And then you're going to press this guy right here. You see how this moves up and down? So when I press that with this hand, I can then pull the pin out the front. This comes out, and then the cylinder just dumps out in my hand, and I can change it over to the 22 long rifle cylinder or to a different fluted 22 Magnum cylinder if I wanted to do that. However, I like the look of the unfluted cylinder, so that's what we're leaving in. Putting it back together is a piece of cake. You basically just drop the cylinder in, press this thing, push that in. You might have to wiggle it a little bit to get all your bits to line up, but then it's back in. Give your rod a little tug to make sure it's properly seated. Now, you may notice that this gun does not have an ejector rod like most single-action Colts. That's because this is based on an old-school mod that people would do to their single-action armies back in the 1800s. The single-action army is a big gun. It's a hard gun to carry concealed. It's a hard gun if you were a gentleman to carry in a pocket. But if you chop that barrel down to 2.5, 3 inches and you take the ejector rod off, all of a sudden this gun becomes a lot easier to drop in a pocket. Now, of course, the problem then that you have is ejecting the spent cartridges, because without an ejector rod, you are left kind of shaking the rounds out of this thing. Heritage includes this handy tool, which is just a punch, and you just go doop, boop, boop. Needless to say, you're not going to be winning any speed loading competitions with this gun, but that's really not the point. The point is to recreate in 22 Magnum and 22 long rifle a gun that would have been a common concealed carry piece for gentlemen, for bartenders to keep under the bar, or for gamblers to put in a coat pocket so they could covertly access a weapon without having to deal with the print that comes with the long barrel on the Colt single action army. Now, the good news about this is it's also super affordable. Heritage makes these guns right here in the United States. They're not expensive. This one is less than $200, if you can believe that. What a great price. And no, I haven't shot it yet because this is just a first look, but I have a case of 22 Magnum on the way, and I'm going to shoot this side by side with one of the other 22 Magnum revolvers that I have. Anyway, I'm Caleb Giddings. This is your Heritage Barkeep first look. Stay tuned to this space for a full review. Thanks for watching.